Welcome to Better with Brii Renee, the podcast where we get real, get honest, and get better, one conversation at a time. Here we talk all things family, faith, finances, and everything that just feels good to the soul. This is your safe space to grow, to heal, and to elevate. Because better isn't about being perfect, it's about being intentional. So whether you're working on your mindset, your money, or your relationships, you're in the right place. So let's keep it real, keep it light, and most importantly, keep getting better. Because better starts with you, starts with us. It starts with Better with Brii Renee. Welcome back to another episode of Better with Brii Renee. I love all of you guys and thank you for joining me at the podcast where we grow better together, one conversation at a time. And thank you to every single one of you guys who have been tuned in, watching, or listening every single Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern right here on my YouTube channel. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a drop. Now, let's just jump right into this week's Better Perspective. And this Better Perspective came to me as I was actually on the road, driving back from visiting my mom in prison, and I actually shared that journey in a vlog. You guys can go back and watch that vlog that's already out. But I realized that, as I mature, men need to feel, especially in romantic relationships, men need to feel needed. They need to feel like Superman at any given point, and especially in their relationship. They need to feel like, their woman views them as Superman. But growing up, I didn't really learn to view a man like that. I think the rhetoric to me growing up was always, learn to survive, take care of yourself, and no man's coming to save you. Mostly because my mom wanted me to be able to stand on my own 2 feet and provide for myself, whether I had a man in the household or not. And also I was taught that, being overly needy as a woman was unattractive, and most men would not want that. But as I grow, and mature, I realized that, I didn't learn to nurture the Superman in a man because of that, nor did I learn to discern when a man is truly worthy of that. Because we know that because let's be real, if you give into that too soon with the wrong man, it can scar you moving forward, and it make you be like, well, I'm never putting a man on a pedestal. I'm never making a man feel like that. Or, it'll deter you from that feeling at all. And now that I grow and mature, I realize that you do have to have discernment of when and who this is chosen to be that Superman in your life. But you have to nurture that Superman in a man so that he will start to show up as that man in your life. So that is this week's Better Perspective. I hope that lands and touches somebody and maybe opens your eyes to how maybe we can heal certain parts of ourselves that are allowing us or disconnecting us from each other. All right, y'all. Today I'm sitting down with a multi-talented trailblazer, okay? Singer, comedian, speaker, actor, nationally syndicated radio and TV host, a licensed minister, adoption advocate, my brother, whom I have been blessed to share the stage with before on a previous talk show, a phenomenal father that I have seen and witnessed firsthand, and just an overall good dude. You know how you walk in the room with somebody and they just make you feel good and warm and fuzzy? That's who he is. I'm really excited to have Mr. Willie Moore Jr.
Hey! Ding, ding.
Oh, yeah, your bell.
I came by myself. They didn't bring my bell. I have no handlers, no babysitters, nothing.
I should have had your bell on standby for you.
It's okay. Usually
I miss you and the bell.
Yeah. I miss you too. And you look good too, child. Let me tell you something.
Thank you.
The body is bodying in the most non-whatever way.
Right.
You have big guys and stuff who love you, so I don't want anybody to believe that. But I'm so proud of you. And just so grateful that I get the opportunity to hang out with you again in the same kind of spot in almost the same type of chairs we had on the other show. So.
I'm excited to see you. I miss you. Like I said, I just always feel good. You the brother that I feel like my mama should have had.
I love your mama too. For real. Listen, let me tell you something. If I was a little younger back then, it might have been a little different.
Okay.
A little older back then, you know what I'm saying? But no, I do consider you a sister. I'm so grateful that you have now taken a step to, put your voice in the atmosphere. Many times when it comes comes to podcasting and communication and sitting down with people. A lot of people have this really unique thing. Like everybody is pine. I don't want to be a part of that. It's like, no, add your voice to the conversation and build a tribe of people who really look forward to what you're saying. So I'm glad to be a part of the conversation.
Yeah, thank you. It's been a long time coming.
Yes.
Okay, but first off, I just want to talk about your roots of resilience.
Okay.
Okay. A lot of times, you know, we like to fantasize about what the perfect life would be, or this is how my life could have been perfect. But I feel like God has a way of like imperfectly blessing us, like in a way that we didn't even know we needed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think about that so much when you talk about your journey and through adoption.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I think it's so true for you because you share so much about how you love your adoptive parents.
Yeah.
How do you think being adopted has like truly blessed your life?
You know, I'm a young, old ass dude. You know what I mean? My best friend is 94 years old. My daddy's 94. I talk to him every day.
That's a blessing. 94 is a blessing.
94, and when you talk to him, he still say, "You want to hear my 10-year plan?" I was like, Daddy, if you go another 10 years, we gonna believe God forgot about you. It's like, well, shit, I want him to forget about me. I love it being down here. He still works 3 days a week. Shout out to Home Depot. 3 days a week, he works behind this this air conditioner, and he gives literature about air conditioner. And then when it's the wintertime, it's heater. He loves to see people. I think he be looking at them women too on the cool.
Yeah, he do.
You know, them man, it was boy, she was just, you know. So I talk to him every single day. And then of course my mom, she's 84. She's on a dialysis journey right now. Mm-hmm. Usually when I tell people that, they be like, oh, I'll be like, yeah, it's unique, but she cussing them people out every single day. Yeah, you hear me? That hoe tried to stick me with a thing. She couldn't find a vein to save her life. So as long as she's cussing people out, I know that we're doing good. But they're my best friends. And I realize now, then I didn't understand how much of an anomaly that I had in them. I didn't know how much the roots that they put in me and foundationally who they made me to be. Like, I never looked at it as such a blessing until I met my biological family. And here's the thing, my biological family, beautiful family. I love them. It just was different from what I grew up in. Yeah. They taught me how to forgive. They taught me to be resilient. They taught me to play dumb. My daddy told me before I came to Atlanta, he said, you know a lot. You're very smart. You're very intuitive. You're very witty. But I need you to go to Atlanta and play dumb.
Play dumb a little bit.
I'm like, why you gotta play dumb? He said, because you're too good looking for and you know too much. Nobody wants to give somebody who's a know-it-all. So they always gave me so much wisdom.
That's good game.
Yeah. And the older I get, the more and more I'm quoting them. Adoption was the best option for me, right? I kind of feel like Joseph in the Bible, where I get an opportunity to go back to my biological family and present something that they may or may not want, or something that they just didn't know they needed. Yeah. I just look at life different.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I like that. And I think that you've grown so much. And like I said, sometimes ideally, if you probably when you were growing up at some point, you were probably feeling like, I wish I had my real parents, or that would have been better for me. But now with growth and maturity, you realize like, nah, this was the best option for me. Yeah,
I'll be honest. I never wanted them in a sense of I wanted them to replace my family. I just always wanted to know who I look like. That was the hardest thing for me, because I grew up with my mom and them from Louisiana, my daddy from Mississippi. Everybody tall. I'm adorable. Let's get that out the way. Okay, I'm adorable. Okay, listen, let me tell you something. I'm talking about like, I'm not tall like they were, like, you know, they were darker. And I just never had anybody to look like me. And then I was pretty good at a lot of different things because I was more of a chameleon. And I was just like, Lord, I would just love to see what my mama face would look like. Like, I would want to know what a cousin looked like. My cousin Lisa, she has a daughter named Stephanie. She was the first child that had these eyebrows and all that, and I looked at her as a little sister. Like, it was so different. Like, even now she's grown and I still see her as little Stephanie, because she was the only person in the family that kind of resembled me. Right. So, but as far as like my family, I never wanted to replace them. I told my cousin Angie, I said, God gave me a choice and I will always choose you guys, because you guys are phenomenal.
That's beautiful. And I feel like God definitely handpicks those people with any adoption story. I feel like God handpicks that family for that specific child. But what do you feel like adoption has taught you about being a father now, like to your children?
You know, my dad is such a phenomenal dad. My mom is such a phenomenal mom. I think I have such emotional intelligence to be able to see what these little creative minds are doing. Mm-hmm. And I do my best to make sure that I protect it at all costs. I had a conversation with somebody the other day who was in their family, but they were talking to them about their financial issues, where I don't have this for this and this and this. And I kept a good face, even though I was livid. I'm talking about livid, pissed to the highest level of festivity. Mm-hmm. But then I got on the phone. I said, listen, my children live in a mindset of abundance, right? Yeah. They are to never, ever know what you're going through today. And it has less to do about what you're going through today. If we are Christians, we have to believe that abundance comes tomorrow, right? Yeah. Every day you got to wake up in expectation. So even if you share what you're going through and saying you don't have this, this, and this, I need you to say, but when I wake up in the morning, because God's going to provide, because that's what I teach them. Mm-hmm. Every single night, 9:30 8 p.m., we have devotion. I sit there, they give me their highs, their lows and their highs. We end with the high. Paisley's my 6-year-old daughter. She never has any lows. She just always.
Ain't that a blessing?
Well, my highs is, and then, I get a chance to gauge, what they're going through. And I'll be the first to say, divorce was very, very tough for my high school now senior, but he's been living with me now for the last 2.5 years. 4 months after the divorce process was over, he moved in with me, and that's my little roommate, and we just have a really great time. He went from a 2.3 GPA to a 3.2 GPA, starting running back, scholarship offers, and I just seen the hand of the Lord change our relationship, and I think I learned so much from them. Like, my prayer every night is, God, don't take their innocence. They're teaching me how to remain innocent, because the world, when you go through ups and downs and issues and problems, you start to take that stuff on and start looking at people a little different, like, bro, what you here for? Mm-hmm. But my children's innocence is, oh man, I just prayed about it and it's all good. And I'm like, you know what? I learned so much as a father watching them navigate life. And I'm sure they learn from me, but they're the biggest blessing to me, because I get a chance to remain, as my spiritual father says, my spirit remains water. Yeah. It's clear. Yeah. It's not convoluted, and it flows, because I watched that little girl. I watched that Princeton. I watched that Peyton, and I watched Khalil.
I love that, because oftentimes you don't hear a lot of parents talk about what they learn from their children. So that's beautiful that you learn stuff from them. What do you feel like, you just spoke about the divorce. How do you feel like the divorce shaped or changed or maybe made you better as a father?
I stopped lying. Yeah, I was a bit of
parents be doing that, and that was one of my biggest pet peeves growing up. Stop lying to me.
Stop lying to me. Yeah. Like, I had this really great idea after I knew, and whether she ever admits it or not, that I was never coming back. Mm-hmm. I went and got a condo, and I was like, okay, this is my office space. And it was like, yeah, that sounds good. That feels good. Mm-hmm. That's an easier blow. And I realized brutal honesty is easier to come back from than a convoluted, oversaturated lie. Mm-hmm. And that was the biggest lie that I've ever told to my children. And, it later came out that was my home, and it was brought to them in a way that really made me look like a liar. Yeah. And I had to come back and apologize and say, hey, what I was trying to do was this, and that. But the one thing that people don't understand is that even though your intentions were good, it still don't stop the pain of what you did to their child. Mm-hmm. So I had to be humble enough to know that I got to regain trust with these children, because it's now a narrative that daddy was this, and this, and I have some empirical data that they can look at to say that I did lie to them. So it took years and years of doing that, but I think the level of humility that is required to win a child over, you have to adopt that from Jesus, right? Yeah. Like, what I've learned is, he said a gentle answer will turn away wrath. In Proverbs, that's what it says. So when my teenager is like, and what did you, like, as a child, you watch him, but I realized that I was learning something. I was winning something. I had a bigger goal. When he would act out, I gotta remember the goal. Gentle answer turns away wrath. All I get an understanding, and I'll have to lean on that word and not make it like so. It's a Bible lesson. It's like, no, it's a life lesson. Yeah. Whether your metaphysical orientation is Christianity or not, there's still something in there that if you do it, you win it. And I'm the proof that if you do God's word, you can win your family back. We got a beautiful family. Yeah. And we're not broken. We're just different. We're unique.
Blended.
Yeah. We winning.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I love that. Yeah. Now, going back to, when you were in college, you majored in psychology, right?
I did.
Yes.
And Kappa Versailles, by the way.
Okay, yeah.
That's it.
Shout out to, you know, I'm me, so I don't know what.
Yeah, I should have been in class, but I was on the stoop with a cane. Doing this right here.
But a lot of times we don't realize like how our passions will later fuel our purpose.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like even me, like looking back, it's like, oh, I didn't realize how even what I majored in at the time, even not knowing what I wanted to do in my career, later end up working out and being part of my bigger purpose. What do you feel like, or how has your psychology background and even your journey in your fraternity?
Yeah.
That's what it's called.
Yeah,
Fraternity,
it's called
right?
fraternity.
Yeah, because you know, I don't know. But yeah, how has your journey in your
Renee straight from the age, y'all. Like, man, whatever the game.
I'm like,
stuff.
he the one that be shimmy.
Yeah,
The
and
one
the
with
other
the
one be
shoulder.
jumping.
Yeah, the other one's jump and stomp and bark. But y'all shimmy with your shoulders.
Yeah, we do. Good job, Brii.
Yeah.
Okay.
How has your journey in that fraternity and as well as like majoring in psychology and that background influenced your storytelling and your motivational speaking now and even like your media presence, because you're a great storyteller.
Yeah.
You know, how has that worked in your favor?
You know, I think studying psychology for me was just an easy way to go to law school. Like I wanted to
go to law school too. That's so crazy.
Yeah, I wanted to be a lawyer. Like I'm from the neighborhood, so I wanted to make sure that, you know, guys who were selling dope to save their family or put food on the table, I wanted to be the guy to be able to represent them and give their narrative to a judge who can understand, like, bro, we ain't bad people. It's just, man, I can't make back then $10 an hour, bro. Like I got 3 kids and I can't live with my baby mama because if I do, y'all gonna take her house away. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I wanted to be a lawyer, so it was an easy way. I wasn't really trying to study psychology, but I ended up really loving the study of the brain and how people work, because it took me out of my selfishness. Like I really have a desire to know how people work. I have a desire to say, oh, okay, cool. I can see where the issue is, and then I can be like water and help it out. So I think studying psychology at the University of Mississippi was really, really good. I didn't know how I would use it. From there, I went and became Pretty Willie. I wasn't thinking about no psychology then. I was just thinking about them women.
The money and all the women.
And that money. That's all I was thinking about. But you know, later on when I got in ministry, I realized that God had a bigger plan, and Jeremiah 29:11 really came to life, that he really worked all things together for the good for those who love the Lord and are called according to his purpose. You know what I mean?
I love that. And you spoke about becoming like Pretty Willie and that journey. And obviously your motivation then was the women and the money and the fame, you know, and it was like a great time for R&B at that time too. I feel like, and you really had some good music, you know, like I still listen to that song. I shameless plug, but I still be listening to my good thing.
20 years later.
Yes, like, it's still here. My boyfriend sent me that like early in our relationship, and I was like, I know him.
He's like, I know him now. Future Willie Moore.
Yeah,
I know Willie
can't
Moore.
Sing that part.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think the Pretty Willie journey was just so good. And 20 years later, I'm so grateful. I didn't know how much money and influence music had at the time. But now, you know, 3 years ago, we were able to retain the masters of that music in our companies.
Oh, yeah, beautiful.
And so it's something that I get a chance to pass on to my children. We own it 100%. So copyrights, licenses, all of that stuff is happening. My accounting department called me and said, we need to do more of this because you ain't got no drivers on this thing. And it's doing this.
It's still
doing this. It does about 1 million it does between 700,000 to 2 million hits per month on streaming. And I know there's some artists who are putting money behind their stuff to be streamed. I sit there and look in the back and be like, Lord, this is hilarious.
But that's what the beauty and longevity of good music. Like that's a great, well-written song. You know what I mean? And it's a loving song. It's something that it provokes an emotion that people are always going to feel. People are always going to feel like, wow, I love you. I want to express, especially men. They want to express their love for a woman, but they don't really have the words or know how. So it's like, listen to this song.
That's what I wrote it for.
Listen to this song.
I was like, bro, you know, you won't be having the words, but she got the best, and I just get it in.
Yeah. But going from like, I guess people would call that secular music, you know, even though it's R&B and you ain't talking about rapping and killing and stealing and all that, but R&B is still, to the traditional Christian community, that's still considered like secular music. How was that transition from secular music into gospel and ministry?
Premature.
Okay.
Yeah, very much premature. There was a culture in Christianity that made me feel like I had to be Paul. Saul going into Paul. To those people who understand that biblically, he had this really, really big moment on the road to Damascus. God changes his name, never for him to be the person that he was before. And I realized, that I thought that was me, but I'm more David. David sung and and he made songs through what he was going through, and these were really testimonials of what he was going through. And so I left the game prematurely. And I had a few years where I think God was really still, molding me into what he needed to be. My pastor even told me, I was like, man, I got this call in my life. I heard the Lord say, your way or my way. What do you want me to do? He said, just stay right there and just keep moving. Because the one thing I've learned about God is that he'll give you a nudge, but that's not necessarily the time where he's wanting you to do what he's trying to get you to do.
It's almost like a trailer, like a preview coming soon. Yeah. And I have had that before. Like I tell people in high school, I had the reoccurring dream that I would be on radio. Well, I didn't get on radio till 10, 12 years later. But I knew at some point that was going to happen because God gave me that inkling, that vision, that dream. And he speaks to me oftentimes in dreams. And so he gave me that dream. So I agree. I tell people it's like a trailer, like a preview coming soon. So you got that nudge and you felt like you jumped too soon. You feel like you jumped too soon?
Yeah, I didn't care about anybody else. Last year, I brought the producers down to Atlanta, or maybe they paid for themselves. I don't want to sound like I was just funding everything. And I actually think Rod, my friend Rod, my 2-man, I think he paid for a big Airbnb, and they were just celebrating because I was getting back in the studio. New music coming soon. You're going to love it. And I grabbed a mic and I literally apologized to everybody who has sacrificed their life for Pretty Willie, moved from Illinois to LA to be a part of this Warner Brother deal. And then I hear your way or my way, and I was like, I never can do that again. I can't do that anymore. I won't do that anymore. And you just kind of leave these guys out to fend for themselves because Willie is no longer doing what I came out here to do. Like, what type of loving God would leave you that way, right? It's because I was so focused on the culture of Christianity to portray a role that I could only grow into and pretending to be something that I couldn't even fit them shoes, right?
Yeah.
What I should have done when I look back is I could have continued to mature in the space that I was in. And I may have influenced a lot of people to see my maturation. But God has such a great grace that I get an opportunity even this week and tomorrow. I'll be in a city and I'm not at the church. I'm at the club. I go on at midnight. Now, I don't know what they going to get at midnight because your boy be to bed at about 10. I ain't going to lie to you. I said midnight. I seen that thing. But I realized I'm called to influence the influential. And because God has blessed me on the side of Christianity, I get a chance to go into those atmospheres, show them integrity. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't, I still cuss a little bit, pray for me, but I'm just a different guy. And I get a chance to be in a place where people actually have the desire to hear something uniquely different. I think there is a huge amen corner that when you become a Christian, you want to run over to the amen corner.
Like I'm holy and saved and I'm righteous and living this life.
And your spirit is, but there's some things that you still, you're still struggling and working with. So now I choose to say, hey, this is who I am. I may not be your cup of tea, but I am somebody's cup of coffee. You can see me now, but those who seen me 15 years ago when they thought Willie crazy as hell, he been trying to do this and nothing. He still got an AK-47 in the back of the car, and he still got Budweiser. But just watch me mature. And what I vow to do is always be authentically where I am, so people can say, I can relate to that. And then when they see me grow, like, hey, bro, I got thousands upon thousands of people in the back of my YouTube when they see me do my podcast, The Love You More Show, or they see me perform, they be like, bro, I've been here since the beginning, bro. Like, it's really dope to see. And I
think it inspires them to grow them in themselves, and it doesn't make people feel intimidated. Like, in order to walk this Christian life or give my life to Christ, I have to like completely do a 180 because that's intimidating to a lot of people.
It is.
Yeah.
And God can do that. Like for some people, they have this Damascus experience, they meet God, and everything changes. And I think that's beautiful. But I also believe that the people that God graces with that opportunity should also have a leniency and a grace for people who are still in the process, right, of holiness. And so for me, I offer a Jesus that says, I love you not because you so good, but because I'm so good. Right. You do what you can, baby, let me do what you can't. I'm under the belief that if I acknowledge him in all my ways, he's going to make my crooked path straight, which means I'm not going to hide what I'm doing from you because I can't hide it from him. Yeah. Like a lot of Christians, well, I can't do that because it's going to mess up the bottom line. And when Christianity becomes also your revenue, you got this straight line that you got to walk through. I'm so blessed to own catalogs. I'm blessed to have a job. I'm blessed to have a portfolio. I'm blessed to have all these things to be exactly who God has called me to do. So I'm not sitting up waiting for somebody to call to book me to preach at their church.
Right.
So I get a chance to be authentically who God has called me to be in this season of my life. And I can truly bless people with transparency while others have to feed the culture.
Yeah.
I'm serving the kingdom.
Yeah, and I think that way is that authenticity that you're talking about, that transparency, I feel like it's how God is truly able to use you in all of your gifts, because like people like you and myself, we're multifaceted, we're multi-talented. So God has a way of using it all, and through that transparency, like I said, leading more people to the kingdom versus somebody who is, like you said, that's just their main revenue. That's how they gonna do it. So they gotta live in this box. And that's only gonna reach so many people because only so many people are really living that lifestyle.
Yeah.
Looking for the perfect space to bring your vision to life? Welcome to Visionaire Production Studios, where creativity meets capability. With over 10 dynamic sets, including a fully equipped kitchen set, we're built for creators, brands, and dreamers who don't just want content, they want cinema. Whether you're shooting a podcast, cooking show, campaign, or content series, we've got the space and the team to help you make magic and bring any vision to life. If you can see it, we can help you shoot it. Let's turn your vision into production at Visionaire Production Studios. You spoke a little bit about like that coming to Jesus moment, as people call it, where he was like, my way or your way. Which one you gonna choose? Like what prompted that? Like where were you in your life that made that moment happen? Like what was going on?
2005, Lay Your Body Down's the biggest record in the South. I'm doing that independently. Nelly sold 30 million records. I sold about 30 with my first deal with Universal.
Like 30 records?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You heard what the hell I said? You're 30. 1, 2, 3, count to 30. You can do it fast. 30, 29, 28, 30. Yeah, no, just 30. No, I think I sold about 5,000, 10,000, whatever it was. Whatever it was, Universal wasn't wanting to do an option. And so that's when I became an entrepreneur. I had this song, because they was rapping back then. Everybody rapping. I stopped at the gas station. I got Expedition on 22s, 5 TV. Don't know why I got 5 TVs. I can't look at.
You can't watch them.
But I'm rolling, and people will come up. Hey, let's rap, nigga. You ain't this. And I'm just like, yo, I got other gifts. Like, I'm gonna sing. So I'm at the strip club. Shout out to the Pink Slip back then.
Okay.
And I had this young lady, her name was Candy. She was one of the girls that used to work there.
It's always a Candy at the
club.
It
is. Candy with a K. She was from LA.
Okay.
And Candy and Jazz and the rest of them was kind of my girls. So when New York people would come in, I would bring Candy and Jazz, and we would have parties and have fun, and they would be the eye candy, et cetera, but they were also my testing ground for music. And so for the first time, I started using my singing gift. So I had this beat from this dude named Lewis, and I was riding, and I was like, this one here, boom, boom, is strictly for my nigga. So I'm singing, and I was like, yeah, but when I go to the strip club, and I let Candy hear it, she get in the car, I paid that $50 to Slug to get her out early. You know what I mean? You got to pay to get them out or whatever. Like, man, just get. It's usually 150. Man, just give me.
For me, yeah, man, I be in here all the time.
Yeah, just hit me with 50, bro. It's all good. So I get her in the car because she's kind of like my guinea pig of music. And she's like, nah, I don't think that's gonna go. But I like the melody. And I was like, cool, well, what about this one? Lay your body down, boom, boom, and let me touch your eyes. She was like, that's what I'm talking about. So with Candy in the car, we drive her to the thing. I go write the song called Lay Your Body Down. I take it right to the radio station because at the time I got a record called Woo on radio that's kind of a diss record to Nelly because he had dissed me on one of his songs. And so it's blowing up in St. Louis. It's a lot of beef. People shooting it. It was crazy. Like I literally had to switch my car one night because they shot at the Expedition. I pulled up in a Camaro the next day because I was just nervous. You know what I mean? It got really crazy. And I did Lay Your Body Down, and that thing blew up. It blew up on MySpace. Then I did a song called 4 Walls. But I had all the knowledge of radio because my manager was in radio. So I knew how to talk radio talk. So I'm an artist calling in, not saying, hey, I got this song I want you to play. I'm like, no, I got a record. It's researching 103 PTL. That's back when research was different. And they was like, oh, dude really know the business. That record ends up hitting #1 from Milwaukee to Louisiana. Like all down there. So if you go west or east, you got to come see me. I started selling out stadiums. We started making money. And so I'm living in the same neighborhood that the Lunatics living in, right there off of Shackleford, Barrington. Like I'm living good, doing well. And then I go to LA because I got tired of the chilling circuit, and I leverage a deal with Warner Brothers. And so I remember Tom Wally, Naeem Ali. I remember walking into Warner Brothers, and I seen this little dude. He was sitting there because we waiting on Naeem, and I was like, hey, what's up, bro? He's like, I'm like, who you waiting on? He's like, I'm waiting on Naeem. I'm like, who you? He like, who you waiting on? I'm like, I'm waiting on Naeem, trying to get a little check. And I said, what's your name, bro? He's like, oh man, I'm K-Dot. What's up, man? I'm like, I'm Pretty Willie. This kid became Kendrick Lamar.
That's crazy.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because J-Rock was the guy. J-Rock was the big guy. So
I've heard that name too.
Win.
Yeah.
But TDE, like, they were some real gangsters. Like, they would come in these big old trucks, big chains. I'm from St. Louis. I ain't got but 3 guys. And so, I mean, long story short, I ended up signing a deal with Warner Brothers, and we started making songs. I made a song called Love in the Daytime with this dude named Daryl Babs. His name is Tank to most of the ladies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
First time I ever been in the studio with him. That dude's phenomenal. And I do a show with DJ Quick. After the show, I get a little money. I'm on Sunset, and I look outside and I look down. It's this white Rolls Royce, and it's this new kid. He's like 14 years old. His name's Chris, but everybody in LA know who he is because he's the next thing to blow. He got this song called Run It, and it's his Rolls Royce. They kind of got him moving like that, and I look down. I'm like, hey, Chris. And he's like, what's up? I mean, little boy. And that was Chris Brown. You know what I mean?
Crazy.
And he's growing, and I'm out there, and I'm doing what we do in LA. I'm blowing something. And I hear this voice that says, your way or my way. And I really like blank out. But they say when I came back, what I know now is I was prophesying. I was like, I just seen a vision. It's an elevator. They gonna take us all the way up. And then the floor fell off and we just all fell, bro. Like, I don't know if we going down the right street. And it was girls in there and like everything. And I went to sleep. Then the next morning, I was like, man, I don't know what I was on last night. I was tripping. And my brother Lewis, who actually flies in today going to Mississippi, with tears in my eyes now, he said, what you did last night and what you said last night was real. And if that's what God is telling you to do, bro, like, don't worry about us, bro. Like, you got something different on you. Like what I seen last night, because I was around all church dudes.
Yeah.
And I left LA, and 2 weeks later, Warner Brother called, said they was going in a new direction. They gave me, I want to say like $250,000. Out of the fund, I paid the producers. I moved back to St. Louis, and I started this thing called Young Fly and Say.
Yeah.
And just never look back.
That's dope, though. I mean, even though you can look back now and be like, dang, maybe I did it too soon.
Yeah.
I feel like God uses all of it for our good. So he still pruned you and gave you so many lessons, and then so many good people. Like you said, you still got that dude today that's coming to pull up that was like supportive and was like, do what you got to do. And it take real friends to not be selfish with they purpose or their destiny over yours. Like, you know what I mean? No, don't do it, because he know that you are feeding the family. You know what I mean? But he's like supporting you. So I think that's dope. Yeah. But like, speaking of, Young Flying Saved, and now working in the ministry area, and you are naturally funny. You like me. Yeah. We just one of them people that just gonna make you laugh in some kind of way. But even with like radio and entertainment and having like deeper spiritual messaging across your platforms, how do you balance that all? And with Flat Out TV, because we know, the Christian community can be judgmental. So how are you able to not only balance your talents in a way that you are still able to reach so many different people, but also balance it in a way where you're still able to monetize all of those talents?
It's still a process. I think on other platforms, I have made it seem like I have made it to this, 8-figure business, high 7-figure business. But, the truth is we're still in the minutia of figuring it out. We're not living in a changing landscape. We're living in a changing seascape. Every single day, a wave is going to roll and something new is going to happen. Even people in the financial industry can see it in the market as it fluctuates. We haven't seen anything like this in the history of America. And so I haven't learned balance, but I do understand that there are seasons where there's going to be focus. And if you focus, you're going to be out of balance.
You're right.
But if you focus, later on, balance comes up, and then you focus, and then balance, and then focus, and then balance, and then you fall into balance, and you hire people to make sure that they're focused.
To keep, that's good, yeah.
So I will say that I am right at focus, balance. So I got about 3 more levels to switch this thing to work in my 20% versus continue to working in my 80%. So let me make that make sense to people. There are things that I can do, but there's only about 20% of things that I should do. And so now I'm learning to delegate and not micromanage, because a business owner has to own the business and not own the projects.
Yeah.
So now my show, which we don't call a podcast, although shout out to this new company that we just did a really great acquisition with. We're just waiting on final draft. It may come next by the time this is out. But Shaquan runs that. And I empower him to run it. When it comes to music, Cortez runs that. And I empower him to do it. So what I get an opportunity to do is say, all right, what do? I show up on podcasts and I lick it, and people get thousands of hits when I'm on there. I get the chance to go design the next hat that should be dropping in 2026. I get an opportunity to be creative and come up with music and features, because that's my superpower. I get a chance to be on the road with George Wallace and make people laugh. You know, for the cheapest price I ain't went out for this price in 15 years.
You get me for the low.
But it is my most fun thing that I do. I love comedy. I love going out telling these stories. People like, you've been doing this the whole time. I was like, yeah, when I went through divorce, I started going to comedy clubs and people started laughing. It was cool. So, I think I haven't mastered it, but I do see how it can be mastered.
What advice do you give to somebody, even like myself, or somebody like another person who's talented, who has multiple gifts? How do they monetize or know where to focus?
Yeah. I think building the tree trunk. I think people try to over do too many things at once without the proper team, right?
Yeah.
And so what I believe you should do is every season I always say, what's my trunk? I'm thinking of a tree. I'm like, okay, what's going to be my trunk? So this season, for years and years, it was radio. That's my trunk. So out of radio, what can I do? I can be a speaker. What can I do out of radio? I could throw shows. What else can I do? I can do merchandise. What else can I do? So when I build my trunk on radio, I see the branches that I can do. Now things have shifted online, and we're touching the roughly 2.8 million people every single week on this show, and then over another 5 million people on one Instagram, and then TikTok. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, okay, cool. So now the trunk is the show.
It is.
So what can we build out of the show? We can build merchandise. We can build this. We can build that. But I'm so focused on the trunk. I've been focused on the trunk for 2 years.
Yeah.
So now I get a chance to take it and say, this is how you run the tree trunk. And I get a chance to go focus on these beautiful branches. Did I want to do music 2 years ago? Yes. I got a 7-song series video already done. People looking at me like, we spent a mint on that.
When you gonna drop it?
When you gonna drop it? Yeah. I was like, no, I got to get focused on here. Because if we build this trunk out correctly and all systems are moving, shout out to Connie. She always talking about systems. But if these systems work, then we can go be as creative as we want to be. And I'm so blessed that by November, I think this trunk will be where it needs to be. And then I can start to focus on some of these branches. It takes about 3 years to build out, a really, really good trunk, in my opinion, and a really good tree. Like, I've lived off the speaking tree for a long time, from radio and traveling with Eric Thomas, and that did what they have to do. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to wait 3 years to be a 7-8 figure business.
No, it can happen anytime.
Yeah, it just means that you have to have a strong trunk. So if you leave for 7 days, the business don't go to crap.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's what I'm learning, because right now I probably can't leave for 7 to 14 days without it falling apart. So
or them blowing your phone up the whole time.
And I'm not really gonna be on the vacation like that. I can only do about 3 days, and then I'm like, I gotta get back to it. I gotta see what's going on. But I do have in my foresight to be able to build a business that can actively run on its own.
Okay, that's good. That gives me that gives me just so much confirmation, because I feel like that this show right now, for me, this podcast is my trunk. I'm like, this is what has been on my heart for so long, and God has been prompting me to do that. Let me focus on that. But then I have, you see, the studio and other things that are really good branches. But I'm like, if I focus on this for a minute, then it'll bring in the people that I need to help build out those branches.
So the question becomes for you, and I know it's not my show, but I want to ask you this: Is it okay to reframe a little bit of your thought process, or maybe add something to it? Because I don't want to add something that you may not want.
No, absolutely.
So
I'm always open.
Yeah, I just want to, I just always ask you. We creators. I'd be like, I got my stuff. I'm good.
No, I ain't never like that. Because God might be blessing me through you.
Right.
Yeah.
I would honestly, like, I gave it a time limit. I gave myself 24 months, and I had a financial goal that we met in 3 months, and I was not obedient. I said, God, if we do this, I'll get rid of this. And I put the number on it. I'm like, we would have to double this to do this. 3 months later, I was looking at the money. I was like, well, God, listen, it's easy for the 2 days. I don't do nothing but 2 days. And so I kept it, and then the numbers began to go down. Then we became stagnant, and we started doing this, and this. But it didn't bother me, because I gave myself enough runway that I'm going to be consistent on Mondays at 8:30, come hell or high water, at Willie Moore Jr. live on YouTube. Come hell or high water, I'm going to be there.
Yeah.
And I'm not doing it for money. Yeah. I'm not doing it for fame.
Yeah.
I'm literally going to be so consistent, and I'm going to master YouTube.
Yeah.
Like, I just made up in my mind, like, come Monday, 8:30 p.m., I'm going to be there. And I gave myself 2 years to be as consistent as possible. So even when we have these stagnant moments, I've given myself enough runway not to feel bad that if I miss something or something didn't go right or that episode didn't hit, because I gave myself enough runway. So my question to you is, have you put together a time where you like, come hell or high water for these next, and it gives you enough runway to build the trunk out?
So I haven't given myself that timeline, that runway, but I did say come hell. So at first I was like scared about it, and I was like, I don't know if I'll be able to financially afford to do this consistently. So I was like, let me just do a season. But thankfully I was at the podcast summit where we saw each other, and I just was so motivated, and just hearing everybody's examples of how being consistent over this long period of time, and how you never know when the right episode is gonna hit. So I was like, that's where it was like, no, you have to drop this every Wednesday, 7 p.m., hell or high water. So now I think I should, just from hearing you speak, I need to give myself that runway of, I'm going to give myself this amount of years to put into this. And I think that's what everybody pretty much was saying. On average, it's around a 2 to 3 year mark before it really starts to hit or pop off, or you had that one episode. And then, of course, all the work you already been doing will eventually pay off, because people go back and look. So I will sit down. My homework is I will sit down and create that runway and create a number. I already kind of got the number in my head of what I wanted to do consistently, because I have been doing that even with my YouTube and my vlogs. But YouTube is where, like you said, I want to master YouTube. I want that to be my channel, my BET. I want you to come and be like, well, on Wednesdays we get the podcast with Brii, Better with Brii, and on Fridays we get her vlogs where we kind of get the BTS of her life. But then when Mama come home on Mondays, you gonna get Mommy and me back. You get what I'm saying? So I want to master that. So I'm gonna give myself, I'm gonna sit down and figure out what that number is that I want, that I'm asking God for, and then I also give myself that runway.
And I want to tell you, my number wasn't astronomical. I needed to make on YouTube ads alone, I need to make $18,000 for me to be like, okay, oh, this is dope. I'm talking about in a month. I was like,
and that's straight from you talking about straight from YouTube.
That's straight ads. I didn't want to. I was like, now if I make that and we can, you know what I'm saying, then we good, God. Yeah, we was $300 off. And I was like, that's close enough, because all I seen was these sevens, and I'm like a number guy. Yeah. And I know that seven kind of represents completion. I was like, so is that season complete? And then I was like, ooh, no, listen, I only do 2 days, and I began to do that. But I say all that to say, like, I just believe that this whole YouTube stratosphere is so much bigger than podcasters know. There is a national, global attack on Black voices. It's to be muted, because we are 3 things in the African American community. We are love, we are chosen, and we know how to rally people around a cause. So if we can sporadically put Black people on mute and not let them be the George Floyd's crisis of the world and bring so much attention, then we can continue to do what we want to do to our brown brothers and sisters and be the demise of African-American people all around the world. Mm-hmm. And so now more than ever, I'm challenging my podcasters that if you're going to say something because you're the only voice that cannot be muted because it's your own. So if you got 20,000 people who watch you every single week, you like, man, but such and such got 100,000 people. No, and them 20,000 people, I need you to tell them something because these other news broadcasters are waiting on, they want to save their job. Yeah. So they can't say what they need to say. Like it is so important in this moment for creators to know how important they are and not begin to look in somebody else's lane and say, oh, well, if I only do this, let me take from there. No, be your authentic voice, because specifically people who speak to African-American people at large, you may be the only voice of reason that they're going to get because mainstream media has now been bought. Yep. The meta, whitewashed. Like, it is totally whitewashed. Black history is what it is. And here's the thing about me. I'm from St. Louis, so I'm totally not afraid. I done been in everything that you could ever be in. I'd have been in the street. I done not had so much money. I done had nothing scares me. Yeah. But I need people to know how important that this is more than a podcast, more than a show. This is the Underground Railroad because we have some very tumultuous years that are coming in the next 3.
Yeah, no, I received that.
I mean, seriously, you got to talk.
So you have so much going on. You're always working. You got family life. You got kids. You got business. You got music. You got the show. You got Flat Out TV. You got YouTube. You got touring. What do you do as Willie to take care of yourself?
Man, I'm having a ball taking care of myself. You know what I like to do?
What?
Nothing. I started. No, let me tell you.
No, that's important though.
T, I'm gonna be honest with you. I started doing a Sabbath. I guess it's been 10. I started when we started the show. Yeah. When we were doing the other show in October. So it's almost a year. Yeah. So Saturday, I don't work. Okay. If I have to speak on the Saturday, I sell no products. And I just give Saturday to God.
I love that.
And they like, well, I thought Sunday was, well, here's the thing. It probably is Sunday or Saturday. I ain't that deep. But when I was with Eric Thomas and the rest of them, they were 7-Day Adventists. And I'm not religious, but I am results. Mm-hmm. And on Saturday, that's what they used to do. And then I seen the results, and I was like, Saturday might be the Sabbath. Considering the results that I'm seeing.
I'm going to just chill on Saturday.
Yeah. So my thing is on Saturday, I enjoyed myself last Saturday. I sat in the house. I listened to some R&B. I barbecued. I had the children just leave, and it was just me, and I was just enjoying my mortgage, and I had a really, really good time. Right?
Got to enjoy that mortgage.
I enjoyed my mortgage. Yeah. I got a really cool car. I drive it fast down 75 South. Sometime I go to Jacksonville, Florida. I'm actually gonna retire there. I know everybody like in Miami or Western. No, I'm going right to Jacksonville.
Go where you want to go,
because it's hood. They got some. I can go to the hood, and then I can go over there to Atlantic, to the Atlantic spot where I like, and beachfront properties are a lot more affordable there. And Travis Hunter is on our football team, so you know that's some of the things I like to do. And I just enjoy. I realize I'm not so much of an extrovert as I thought I was. I don't necessarily like to go out. Mm-hmm. I go out on special occasions. I like for people to when I walk in.
Well, your job is out, so it's like when you taking a break, that's not what you want to do.
Yeah, like when I walk in, people be like, "Hey man, I like the way that feel." I don't like that you again. I don't like the you here again. No, I like when I come out, people be like, "Bruh, you don't never." But it's only because, you know, I spend my life on. I try to go to every football game. I'm a part of the booster club with my high schooler. And I'm at the school a whole lot. I'm at their practices. I'm at their dance recitals. I'm cooking dinner. I don't have a chef. Like I'm literally preparing dinner. I was just thinking about it when I got here. I'm like, what are we gonna do today? You know what I mean? So I'm really enjoying being a single father. That's beautiful. And my son stays with me full time. I kick it with him. And last night I was in the bed at 9:30.
Oh, ain't that a blessing?
I'm talking about magnesium pills with the little D, with the vitamin D. Yeah, I'm at that age. Yeah. I was like, somebody told me, you take some magnesium pills. I was like, yo, it give you a little buzz too. I ain't gonna lie. I was like, I feel something. Yeah. My son like, Dad, you make everything a recreational drug. Pray for me.
Okay.
So yeah, that's what I do. Beautiful. I chill.
As long as you taking care of you.
I'm so taking care of you.
And then of course this is better with Brii Renee. So I always ask people I end with this, like, what do you want to be better at life right now? In life,
I want to be better with taking accountability for the parts that I play in the demise of some situations. For years and years, I'm gonna be very honest with you. Like, it was so easy for me to see what other people were doing. And I would say that was the cause. But I started to ask myself this really, really dope question. What part did I play in this situation that could have made it end negatively? And once I start to explore that, I've learned that I get so much confidence and personal accountability that I get a chance to be better the next time. I don't end well. I want to be better at ending. I want to, like, if say you and me, you my sister, I love you to life, and God, please don't never let it happen. But if me and you just ain't friends no more, I don't want you to hear about it on a blog or the energy in the room feel kind of weird. Like, what's wrong with Willie? Like, I thought we was cool.
Yeah.
I want to be able to be strong enough to come to you and say, hey, I got different borders in my life, boundaries in my life, and it just doesn't require us to be as close. And it's not that I want to be able to end well. So if I could be better at anything, it's number one, taking personal accountability for the roles that I play, authentically being real about that. And then number two, being able to end different situations well, even business deals. Mm-hmm. I'm not good at letting people go and firing people.
Yeah.
I'm so great. I'm like, well, we probably put you on this team and that team,
we're gonna let you know,
but we're going to let you go on this team.
Yeah.
But when we get to the other team, we're going to do it. It's really like, hey, man,
this season has come to
an end. And I'm just not bold and brave and courageous enough to do that in a way that represents the integrity that I ultimately walk in 99.9% of the time. So that would make me better.
I love that. And I love to hear a man talk about taking accountability. I don't know. That just is like, come on, black man.
Yeah, we got to do that. Yeah. I get so tired of me. This is this thing I did with Tonight's Conversation. It's over 90 million hits. It was a guy, and he was he was like, why do women, he's kind of, I think a Jamaican guy or Caribbean guy, love him to life. And he was just like, why do women have an exit plan when they get married? And so I didn't even address her exit plan. I addressed what he should be focusing on, which was himself. Mm-hmm. Because it's hard to see the picture when you the frame.
Right.
And I said, man, look, bro, only focus on this, and this. People in the comments, he ain't even answered. I was like, no, I don't know.
We can't be worried about
like
all
I can't
that.
worry. Like I wouldn't be here if I was worried about what my former. I can't worry about that. I gotta know, Willie, this is what you did wrong. You weren't attentive. Okay, yeah. You made everybody just jump on your ship, and wherever the water landed, they didn't have a say so. Mr. Moore, you had inappropriate relationships with people that you shouldn't have inappropriate relationships with, and you weren't gentle and catering to her needs. That's what I did. Now, what she did, I might have a laundry list, but I can't focus on that.
And you can't fix that. You can only fix you.
How hard is it for you to fix something that you got going? I know people can't quit smoking.
Right.
How hard is that? Well, it's even 10 times 10 trying to change somebody else. Man, I just think people need to focus on themselves, specifically men. Like, we got to step up to the plate. I ain't never seen my dad ever in the history of niggerdom ever blame anybody else for something that he did.
Yeah.
No
That's
job, no
man.
person.
Yeah.
He like, man, I'm a grown man. I should have left that a long time ago. And I was like, well, Daddy, he did this, and this. He said, nah, because he did this and this. If I focus on that, I'll be at his house doing something crazy.
Yeah.
But if I focus on what I should have done, I won't make that same mistake the next time.
Amen to that. Well, I love that. Thank you, Willie. This is
glory to God.
Amazing episode. Wait, before we go, we end every episode with a trap formation.
Trap formation?
Yeah, that's
Come on.
So it's really an affirmation, but you know me, I got to keep it a little real. You know?
Did you tell them your family owned that strip club?
They know that.
Okay, I know you. If they did, I
know
told
that.
them.
We talked
Don't
about
edit
that
part out.
episode.
I went past there the other day. I was like, nah, the man of God can't go in there. But I was like, but Brii say the food is good.
The food is good.
I couldn't go.
But this one I wrote is specifically for just your journey and like how I see you. So this is something that we all can recite to remind ourselves, give us a little confidence on a daily basis. So this week's transformation is chosen and covered. My purpose is already discovered.
I love it.
It's a bar. Quick, short, sweet, yeah. Chosen and covered. My purpose is already discovered. And I feel like God already, like you said, even your friend told you that a long time ago, he already knew you had a greater purpose on your life and you were anointed from birth. Mm-hmm. So I'm just excited to know Willie Moore Jr. and I can't wait. Let me know when the song drop. We're going to be at the listening party or whatever.
Yeah, we probably going to have it at the studio here, bro. Like, I love it.
Thank you.
I don't know. Every time I get around you, man, I get really, really teary-eyed just because I know how hard you're working. And I know that, with mom not being there and you having to really just take a freaking accelerated run towards destiny had to be extremely unique. But I'm just so grateful by the way that you're navigating. You're navigating so well.
Thank you.
Like, I appreciate that. So it's always good to hang out with you.
Yeah, and I'm grateful. I feel like God has blessed me with people like you and the right people in my life at this specific time.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't even been able to appreciate these relationships previously. Like, while I had I don't need nobody else. Like, when you out here, like, I need somebody.
Somebody help. Help me, please. Help me.
So I'm so grateful that you've been here and been a part of this journey. So thank you for coming. I love you always.
Love you more.
And that is another episode of Better with Brii.